Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? Have you missed me? Miss me, now you gotta kiss me? I hope so. Happy Tuesday tea, ladies. Are we having a good time? Are we killing it out there in the world? Hello, I am Corinne. Hello, Cara. Hello, Afressings. Hello, Val. Hi, Lady Rock. I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be chatting with you. Hello, Poison Ivy. Good to see you. Hello, Sandy. She said, why haven't we seen you, love? Girl, I'm busy. Girl, I'm helping my clients do the damn thing called dating. So I haven't been, out and about. I've also been dadding pretty hard. I am a father of 3 kids, and if you know, but my kids are in 7th grade. And so that's actually when the whole top boarding school application process starts. And so we've been starting and doing that. If you know, as someone who is a former boarding school person, that's when it starts. So, honey, we are getting the kiddos together. Yeah. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm so happy to be chatting with you tonight and to be really getting into, as one of my new favorite content creators on TikTok says, getting into the pieces. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Coach Anwar. I am a dating coach for Black and brown women of color that are doing the damn thing, that want to date, that want to find love, which I'm really excited about. Someone in it said, do you work with women over 65 years old? 100%. I have at least 3 women that are 65 plus now. One of them's in a relationship. And another one's getting it in. No shade, honey, no shade. Yeah, so very much that. For those, so Rashida said, oh, that's where your Valley Girl voice comes from, boarding school. 100%. And you know what, ladies, I will tell you this. I was in boarding school and I observed and I looked at all of those rich, spoiled white girls and I saw how they got everything that they wanted, and I took it all for myself. And that's what I'm teaching all of these women of color to do, which is have unabashed audacity in your life. Yeah. So I'm super happy to be here. And we're going to get our life tonight. My hope is that I can help you take one step forward in your own dating life, right? Here's the thing. One of the things that I've noticed is that there are a lot of women, and more women each and every day, that are over dating, that don't want to do it, that don't want to engage, that hate men. It's kind of like exhausting, and the energy is a little bit much for me. If you're that girl, then if dating's not for you, it's not for you. But if you want to date, if you want to heal, if you want to engage, and if you're a bit of a lover girl that still believes in love with men, stay on here. I have something for you. Yeah? Now, with that said, just FYI, if you're interested in working with me and my team, I have a team of 5 coaches that are amazing. Don't hesitate to go to the link in my bio, book a consultation call, and we'll talk and see if it's a good fit. No pressure. Yeah? Good. Now, with all of that said, how does this thing work? The way that it works is you ask the questions in the chat, I answer them. Okay? Okay. Andrika said, OMG, I loved you on Reliving Single podcast. Thank you so much, lady. I appreciate it. Yeah. I'm doing less social media videos and more podcasts and, speaking engagements. I have 2 podcasts that I'm going to be on tomorrow and recording my own as well. So Let's get into some of these questions. Yeah. Someone said, I miss you on social media. Well, I will tell you this. TikTok is like, I believe, has started to become more of like an abusive boyfriend for a lot of content creators. So, like, respectfully speaking, I know how to make a video go viral. It's not, anytime I do any sort of hashtag that has to do with Black women, it doesn't push my videos out. So, I mean, I'm not going to engage. I have a lot of genius. I'm not going to waste it on some random social media platform that does not value it. So I'm not going to do it. I'm putting more stuff on Instagram these days, actually. So with that said, let's get into these questions. Yeah. And if you like what you hear, if it's helpful for you, tap, double tap, triple tap the screen. I want you tapping so much that you get carpal tunnel. Let me get my, what should I call this? My Samoan? Let me get my Samoan ready, honey. Someone said too early. Too early for what, sweetie? Someone said, no, the Samoan is an AirPod. No, girl, that's a Turkish. That's a Turkish. That's a Turkish. That's a Turkish. And then this is my Dominican. This is my Dominican. I got, okay, Hershey Dreams says, I found the nerdy white guy. He's very sweet, but maybe socially awkward. How do I navigate it? Don't bring him outside. Keep him all to yourself. Keep him at home. Put him in his room. Let him code, program. Let him nerd out. D&D. Twitch. Keep him home, girl. Keep him home. That's what I do. Shh. Don't tell anyone. Yeah? Someone said, can you trust men with female friends? It depends on how many female friends. If he has 1 to 2 female friends, great. And if he has an older sister, great. If he goes somewhere and more than 2 women know him, he's throwing his big D all up and down ATL, honey. I don't trust it. Nor should you. Yeah? Okay. Why an older sister? Because when you have an older sister, you have to learn respect. Or your older sister will come for that ass. Yeah? And so a lot of boys growing up have a natural respect for women because of older sisters. Yeah. Just my experience. I will be going on 16 years as a dating coach come this November. So I've seen it all. I've coached it all. And we help women get into relationships every other day. I will tell you that this month, no, the month of September was like every day there were women that were getting into relationship. Starting to slow down now because seasonally that's how it happens. But yeah, it was pretty, and like all my girls from the summertime were getting their guy. Yeah. Okay. Someone said what services do you offer? I have a ton of coaching programs. I have a group coaching program. I have a VIP one-on-one. I also have like a program for celebrity and Hollywood folk that is a bit anonymous. So, if you see some of the girls come out with guys that are not their type, they probably talk to me. I'll just say that. But we keep it cute and confidential here. Yeah? Okay. All right, let me see what kind of questions that we have. Someone said, I thought relationships pick up around the holidays. No, girl. No, girl. Cuffing season's real. Girl, right around Halloween, dead, honey. Hibernation. Some of y'all still think that the animals sleep all the way through the winter. That's how some of these men will be doing. Sleeping around and not committing. Yeah. Inkwell said, do black men frequently have a love-hate relationship with their mothers? Yes, I actually did a podcast episode on this. So for those of you that don't know, someone said, do you help Karuchi? No, girl, I did not help her. If I did help her, she would not be with who she is now. I had a podcast called The Man of a Single Mother. And the reason why I made that podcast is because 50% of black men have single mothers. And there is something that is learned when you have a single mother that actually makes it hard to date those kinds of men. Those kinds of men will jet deuces very quickly. Anytime any sort of a heavy emotional responsibility comes into play, it overwhelms them because they regress into that little teenage boy or that little boy that had to take care of his mother and all of the things that she was going through as probably a pretty overworked, overwhelmed, maybe angry woman that had to live a very hard life. Yeah. So, something to think about. Vanessa said, I missed you at CultureCon. Oh my God, girl. Well, maybe I'll be there next year. Honey, we were talking our ish, helping the girls get their dating lives together there. So I hope to be invited next year. Someone said, help Portia. Girl, I'm good. I'm not that good. No shade. I think that... Okay, I'm not going to talk about people I'm not going to talk about celebrities. This user is a baddie said, I love how you always come with the statistics. Well, I undergrad in statistics. I was a statistics major. And so I just want to offer that most everything that I say, except for anything that has to do with DL and D size, is backed by statistics. Yeah. Okay. What is the advice you would give to someone who is shy and insecure? Well, a lot of the women that are insecure, they have a reason why they're insecure. So my question for you would be, what is the thing that makes you insecure? You're going to have to figure that out. Is it because you think that you're not pretty? Is it because you have a rounder size? Maybe your skin color is quote unquote different or whatever. Like, no shade. Is it intelligence or your success? I was chatting with a client earlier, and she was saying that she just is a perfectionist, and anything that's not perfect, she just is really insecure about. So maybe it's that, right? As a coach, my job would be to figure out what you're insecure about and make that your biggest strength. And for you to actually truly lean into it, right? A White Dizzy said, thoughts on black women dating Indian man, please. One of the things that I think is important when you're dating Indian men as a black woman is to understand his relationship with his family, specifically his mother. Most Indian families will not embrace black women. I want to be honest with you. And so that's why you don't see as many of those couples. So you have to understand what sort of relationship and influence that the family has over him. Some Indian American men who have been on their own and maybe that don't have a huge relationship with their family, those are the sort of Indian men that you probably want to get with. It sounds like counterintuitive, but it's actually true. If he doesn't talk to his family, talk to that Indian man. If he's close with his family, get out now. There's no way, shape, or form that anything is going to come of it. My opinion. My opinion. Someone said thoughts on speed dating. I think that it's great practice. I think that you'll probably meet pretty interesting women that you can go out with in the future. But in terms of the men, respectfully speaking, most of the men that go to speed dating are probably on the spectrum or socially inept. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't waste my time on that, personally. And if you've been to speed dating, you've had that experience. Let me know. Am I lying? Let me know in the chat. If I'm doing too much, let me know. Yes, honey, it's giving love on the spectrum. If you want to be on that show, go speed dating. Someone said, are we asking questions here in the comments or in the question section? Always in the comments, love. Always in the comments. Raina said, long distance in your mid-20s. What's the question? Y'all are going to have to come with actual questions. Don't just give me statements and put a question mark at the end and think that it's a question. Janice said, why would a man have you waiting? Waiting for what? Waiting for a commitment? Waiting for sex? What are you talking about? Jordy said, any advice for Black women trying to date outside of their race? Yeah, you gotta, if you want to 3x your chances of finding your person, you're gonna have to date everybody. It's not an either or. It's not like, oh, I just date non-Black men or I date Black men. If you're gonna date, girl. If you don't have a job, you're gonna look and see if all of possible jobs that are aligned with what you're looking for and what you want. It's the same thing here. If you are looking for a job, no shade, but you're updating your LinkedIn, aka you're updating your online dating profiles, you're having informational interviews, aka you're going out on dates, right? You're not staying at home and not doing anything. You're probably applying to jobs every day, which means you're chatting with people, either online or offline. Same thing needs to happen here. The gag is that I truly believe that if you really lean into this strategically, like I teach my clients, within 6 to 9 months, there's no reason why you can't be in an amazing relationship. Most of my clients generally get their guys between months 6 and 9. I will tell you, before the pandemic, it was between months 3 and 6, so it's much easier to date before the pandemic. But now, and it's getting harder and harder because, more and more people are showing up in the dating space with not the best of intentions. I will just say that. Okay. Quinn said, would you move back closer to home for a guy you're interested in? I would not move for a man unless you were married. And even at that point, I would still question whether you really have to move and if it's going to be the best situation, not just for him, but for the relationship and for you. So one of the things that happens in my program once a lady gets into a relationship is that I have a program that I don't advertise called the Get Your Ring program, where we help clients who are in relationships get engaged. And so this is one of the things that we talk about quite heavily, which is when you're in a relationship, which is different than dating, you have to think about 3 entities, the he, the we, and the me. Okay? That's how our decision process needs to be when we're in a relationship. And there's a transitionary period because, you have to shift your identity from a single woman to someone that is in a relationship. And that takes a little bit of time. Okay. Co-op Sheena said 2 months in, feels too good to be true. Not love bombing, but he's consistent and kind. How to not self-sabotage. So sometimes what happens, and this generally happens in the first 1 to 2 months, is you the reason why most people will self-sabotage early in a relationship is because they don't believe that they are worthy of being in a relationship and being loved. So they want to test it. They want to see, oh, is this person the real deal? Let me see what he'll endure so that I can figure out if he's a real deal. You're going to have to assume that he is who he is, and your job in the first 6 months of a relationship is to continue to date him. I think people get into a relationship and they're kind of like, I'm already evaluating marriage. And that's not the case. You should not be thinking about marriage in the first 6 months of an exclusive committed relationship. You should be continuing to date him, and then 6 months later, 6 months plus, at least this is how I share with my clients how we're going to actually evaluate whether this man is husband material or not. Does he have the husband skills? And we do certain assessment tests and things like that to figure that out. Yeah. So my hope is that this is helpful for you. If it is, tap, double tap, triple tap the screen. We have about 26,000 likes here on TikTok. I truly do appreciate it. Janice said, waiting for commitment, we're exclusive but no label. How long have you been in a relationship with him? Ladies, never accept exclusive. Exclusive just means I'm casually dating you, but I don't have any emotional responsibility for you. A lot of women get tripped up because they say, oh my God, we're exclusive. So yeah, we're having sex, but he actually, it's not his job. And he's probably, one, not even going to label you as a girlfriend. But two, also, if something happens to you, he doesn't have to feel emotionally invested. He doesn't have to correct it. He doesn't have to rectify. He doesn't have to problem solve because y'all are just exclusively dating. Y'all going steady. Yeah? So I think it's important for us to understand that. Oh my God, there are so many questions. Oh my God, the girls have questions. Okay, let's do a round, honey. Mo said, honey, I need you. Girl, book a call. Book a call. I'm about to tell you, generally we get filled up like the week after Thanksgiving because the girls that come into my program are type A. So they're already strategizing for what 2026 is going to look like, and they've already made a decision that they want to find love in 2026. So right around Thanksgiving, Black Friday, a little bit, like a couple days after that, that's when we book out. My clientele, smart and successful women of color, mostly Black women, right? Which, if you're that, realize that you're going to have to date differently. Okay. Ceci said, I literally watch your videos and I found the love of my life. Amazing, girl. I'm so happy for you. Clem's World said, what are your thoughts on dating someone who plays PlayStation or games? Well, if he's tall and lanky and he's a gamer, he probably putting you through that mattress, girl. So I'm jealous. That's one thought. The second thought is there are two types of gamers. A guy who games because he's avoiding life, and a guy who games to wind down from his life. You have to figure out which one he is. The first one is a no-go, a no ma'am. The second one is a, boy, do what you got to do to wind down. Someone said, I'm 33, what age group should I go for? I always say plus 10 years minus 5 years. Yeah. And if you're older, like 50 plus 5 years minus 10 years. Lover said, your tips and rules got me in a successful relationship. Thank you. You're so welcome. So funny. I literally, in my DMs, I get those sort of messages, about 2 or 3 of them a day. So I'm happy to hear that. He made me sign a prenup. Is that a red flag? No. Every woman should be signing a prenup. You should have your own lawyer, and you should be also stipulating prenups for your side. If you're asking this question, then I already know that the relationship has an imbalance here. Like, every woman should have a prenup. It is one of the smarter financial decisions that you need to make, especially in your dating life. So I love that he wants that. I think you should want it too. Yes, honey, get that infidelity clause, sweetie. Trish said, Anwar, the book, please. Girl, my editor and publisher has it. I've written it. It's out. It's amazing. It's not out, like, published. Like, I've done it, and now they're editing it and will bring it back to me. Which I'll do a few edits, and then we'll it's supposed to come out in January of 2027. The thing is, when you traditionally publish, the process, the timeline is longer. Respectfully speaking, I'm not like these other dating coaches. I don't just self-publish and have errors and stuff in my books. I'm traditionally published with an amazing book deal. So, next year you'll see me doing my rounds like all of the other authors do. It's one of the reasons why I wasn't really doing a lot of social media for the past 6 months too, because I was very much focused on this book. And I will tell you, I completely fell in love with this book as I continued to write it. Because I'm girl, every little mini chapter, girl, I was like, oh my God, girl, the girls are going to gag on this. Oh my God, girl, genius, girl. Girl, I was gagging myself. This book is my love letter for Black women. It is like my soul, my spirit, my love. It is like me really moving the needle when it comes to Black women finding love. And I write about that, about how I really do want 1 million Black women getting married. And I really do believe that this book has the potential to create a movement to help all y'all, right? So, I love it. It's amazing. It's a game changer. Every chapter is like blowing minds, sweetie. It's life. Tell Amber we want him to narrate the audiobook. Girl, I am. Literally, my agents just asked me last week, do you want to do the audiobook? I said, girl, these girls are not going to get the audiobook if I don't motherfucking narrate it, sweetie. And I think I did call them sweetie, too. Okay. Miss N. Harris said, how to not sleep with men too early when you're also horned up. Girl, you're going to have to handle yourself. And also, the reason why I say this is because most women out there will get stigmatized. I don't care if you think that your heart is shit. Like, even the best of them. It's chemical. Like, you can't help it. Guys can hit it and not think twice, but there are chemicals, hormones in your body that will chemically bond to these men, even if they ain't worth their weight in dirt. And each and every one of us knows one of those girls. her guy is not worth anything, but you can't tell her nothing because she's blinded by the D. What did John Cena say? You can't see me? Girl, she can't see nothing but that D. So when you already know that that girl is that, don't even try it. Okay. Bianca said, I'm the golden retriever, he's the black cat. Is that okay? No, it's not okay. You never want a man to be a black cat. If you're the golden retriever, you're chasing him. You need to find a golden retriever, and you need to find the black cat that's within you. Now I'm worried. Gabby said, how to not feel guilt when men pay for dates. So I think it's important to understand that when you feel guilty when people do things for you, it is because you feel like you're not worthy of it. Let's be honest. You're not worthy of a compliment. You're not worthy of people paying things for you. And it generally goes back to childhood. So for example, a lot of women feel guilty when men pay for them because maybe you grew up poor, and a lot of us did, and that's no shade. So everything felt like an oversized sacrifice. And especially if you're a kid of immigrants or just a kid of color, you're trying to do everything that you can to make life easier for your parents because the world is so hard on them. So sometimes you might say, oh, I don't need to get that. Like, even though you might want something because you know that they're not going to be able to actually pay for it, your parents growing up. And that transfers over even into your adulthood. So one of the things that you're going to need to do is the thing that you say you shouldn't get because it's too expensive, you need to get it. You need to get it so that when you get it and the next day you realize that nothing has actually changed. Life is still lifing. You're not homeless. You're not unemployed. Like, you have to get the evidence that, one, you can receive these things and nothing bad happens. Okay? Very important. I hope that's helpful for you. Someone said, please tell me you're considering life coaching. Well, respectfully speaking, the dating coaching is life coaching because guess what? Life is just relationships, different kinds. Yeah? So, something to think about, something to consider as you are navigating, owning yourself, your worth, and allowing men to do for you. Yeah, someone said, yeah, that Louis Vuitton doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore, but also you got it. You're okay. Now what? Girl, get that plane ticket to Greece. $800 on a credit card. Life is still the same the next day. Yeah? Okay. Nat said, do you know the bird test theory? And what are your thoughts on it? I do, because I'm a dating coach and I know most of the things that are talked about. And so for those that are not familiar, and let me know if I got this wrong, but I'm paraphrasing here. Basically, the bird test theory is sharing a fact that you find interesting that might not be overall very interesting. In this case, it might be, oh my God, look at that bird over there. Isn't it beautiful? And what you're looking for is your partner to engage and be curious and lean into whatever you find fascinating or details that you are highlighting, right? I think it's very important. I think it's very important to show interest and attention in the things that your partner is very interested in. And it's very important for women to do this just as much as it is important for men to do this. My experience is that there are some things that women won't even talk about or listen to. That's his golf stuff, his video game stuff, his Sunday football stuff. I'll leave him to it. Most of the time they want to talk to you about that stuff. Yeah? So, want to offer that. Okay, someone asked, does posting pictures with cleavage make me undateable, or can some men not date a bad bitch? No, they'll date you and they'll try to bed you. But I will tell you, if you want to crucify me, that's fine, honey. I get crucified every week. Men will most often not think of you as a potential wife. Because the way that they're viewing social media and dating apps are, can I envision myself in her lifestyle with her? And most men that want to be in a long-standing relationship don't want to be next to a woman that is showing so much. And the reason that is, and that's not me being a prude or judgmental or any of that, there's actual research, but also this is anthropological, right? That when you're showing this, what you're inviting, whether you agree or not, are other men's attention. So ultimately what you're saying is, I'm okay having other men's attention and not just I'm okay with one man. So what that means in a man's mind is, she's not going to be loyal to me and I'm going to have to fight off all of these men just to be with her. And most men don't want to do that. They're thinking, oh my God, all these men are going to make advances to her and then I have to put myself in danger because my girl wants to have the titas out. Yeah. So, I just want to share what the tea is. I know a lot of women out there might not like that, but that's the reality of the situation. Malik said, I thought men like a prize. When you have your titas out, you're not a prize. A prize is something that one person gets. Yeah, so it's girl, if you got this going on, if you got pictures where it's like that one, when you're leading with your that's not gonna work. If you're showing more skin than clothes, same mentality. Yeah. Prize, one person gets. A snack, everybody gets. Yeah. Let's see what else. And thank you all so much for the almost 56,000 likes here on TikTok. I appreciate it. If you're interested in doing this work more deeply, definitely book a call. The link is in my bio and we will get you right. I know y'all see a lot of the fun and the kiki, but in this program, we do the work, and the work works. This is about learning how to set boundaries in all parts of your life. This is about having the emotional confidence to be able to be vulnerable and deeply connect with a man. This is about learning how to be naturally and seamlessly in your feminine energy to attract more masculine, energetic men, which is becoming more and more of a rarity these days. This is about healing a lot of your triggers and traumas that come up for you while you're dating. Because most of y'all get triggered while you're dating like every day, and that's why you hate it. So there has to be a level of healing there so that you can get fully like detached so none of this stuff is affecting you. The fact a lot of y'all don't like dating or are over it because y'all are getting triggered, unfortunately. And it's because we haven't healed our shit. So the work that we do in the program is healing your stuff so that none of this stuff matters and you can stay in the game. Part of my job is keeping the girls in the game so that they can find their person. Like I said before, 6 to 9 months. Most of y'all will quit either in 2 weeks or 2 months. And then you'll literally kill all of your dating momentum and therefore your dating results. Because every time you come back, you literally are starting from zero again. That sucks. I would hate to work, stop, and then go to zero. Girl, I would go insane too. So we got to heal our stuff. The other reason why that's so important is because guys that are emotionally ready for a relationship, they're not going to stay for your crash outs because they're not crashing out. So if you're acting a fool every time something small, medium, or big happens, they're just going to cut you off. They're going to step away. Because relationship ready men are probably have created a level of peace in their lives, just like many of you have. They're not going to deal with it. So if you get triggered by something someone says or does, you might not be ready for an amazing relationship with an emotionally regulated man. Rebecca said your advice was life-changing and I found my now fiance. Amazing. I'm happy for you. Aisha said, in your program, do you help women address avoidant and isolating tendencies? We sure do. I actually have a challenge for all my ladies right now. Fall in challenge. And they're getting points for specific things that they do as they interact and they date in the wild. So yeah, we get into all of it. I actually just had a group session with over, I think, around 100 women where I was talking about this challenge and how to make the most of it. So we have fun while we date. Yeah. Someone said, I've been healing for over a year, now I'm scared to jump back in. The funny thing is that a lot of people will do this work outside of dating. Respectfully speaking, you have to do the work while you're dating. What did Mike Tyson once say? Everybody thinks they're an amazing boxer till they get hit. You gotta do it. You gotta do the work in the game. Okay? Okay. Do long distance relationships work? Yes, they do. A good number of them do, actually. But you're gonna need a different set of skills and a level of patience. One of my clients is in the DMV area. Her guy is in Chicago, and he's come to see her every 2 to 3 weeks. And she's actually, I think, going to see him for the first time in like 3 months. So, very possible, but there's a different level of skills that need to happen. Millie Berry said, would you take a man back if he dumped you and regrets it? No. Your future husband would never dump you. If he's saying that he regrets it, it's because he's bored, his feelings are hurt from another woman, or he's corny with an H. So, just want to offer that. Love Shiomi says, what are some reasons why men may not approach you, assuming the obvious? Pretty, dress well. Well, there's a variety of different reasons. One, we are post-pandemic, post-Me Too. So men are not approaching in the way that they used to. They're probably like, their approach rate is a third of what it used to be. So if you're still a traditional girl waiting for these men to approach you, girl, keep on waiting. You're going to be waiting forever. And it is because these men don't want to be considered a perv or a harasser or anything like that. So it's not like, you know, the 99 or the 2000, sweetie. You could sit there and people could be grabbing on your arm left and right, talking about, hey, baby. That's not happening anymore. So you're going to have to do it differently. And if you want to learn how to create these skills so that you can get your guy, that's why the name of the program is Get Your Guy, double entendre Tigua, book a call. Someone asked, where am I based? Girl, in the world. I live in Canada. Yes, honey. The girls who get it, get it. Okay, let me see what questions we have, honey. No, honey, not the Bronx. If I came from the Bronx, girl, I wouldn't be here. They would have snatched me up. Tea on German men. You have come to the right place. As someone who's lived in Germany for a couple of years when I was younger, I am a German expert. I think I was proposed to 3 times within the span of 18 months while I was in Germany. And there's a reason for that. Because I'm the German man whisperer, okay? So, the tea on German men is that German men live in a society where order is the number one thing. So, first of all, German men love black women. If you go to Germany, you'll be engaged in 6 months. But you can't be afraid to be your entire self, right? They will be inspired by you living your life out loud. So the tea is you can get any German man that you want. It's very important to realize that with confidence, with an insane amount of confidence. Initially, German men will want to go 50-50. That is a cultural thing, so you'll have to be very clear about your standards and expectations while dating. Once you're clear with them, most of them will abide. Yeah? But, yeah. They love y'all there. And if I wasn't married, honey, I'd probably be living in Germany or Italy with 3 husbands. Bree said Amber is an evolved male Shira. Okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Let me look on IG, see what the girls are talking about. Where do I find white men in Houston who are interested in black women? In the suburbs. They better understand we have a global New York Times bestseller on the live. I know that's right. I know that's right. What about men who break it off due to work stress and advancement? Let them. Let them. Here's the thing. And I want to be honest and clear. If he is saying that, like, work is something that's very important for men, okay? Like, that is how they self-actualize and how they feel good about themselves. So if something's going on with work, they only will focus on that, okay? And especially in economies like this where we're either depressed or in a depression, dating is even harder. That means they're going to try to go on less dates with you. They're going to do, they're not going to want to invest as much within the courtship process. Okay? It's very important to understand. Ultimately, one of the things that I think is helpful for you to understand too, though, is if you are the woman for him, he's never gonna let you go. And he's never gonna use work as an excuse to not be with you. As someone who gets women into relationships every other day, these girls are beating these men off with a stick. I'm talking doctors, consultants, engineers, lawyers, men that are working 80, 100 hours per week, doctors that are in surgery telling the assistant to text his girlfriend back and tell her that, he'll text her in 3 hours after the surgery. That's what it looks like. So it sounds contradictory, but I honor what he's saying because work is very important to men, but also you might not be his dream girl, so you might need to date other people. Okay. Let me see what the questions are. Juliana said, why do German men love black women? Girl, because Germany is boring. Germany is white and standard, and they love the contrast. Because of the German history, they almost over course corrected. So now they're interested in everything that is not German. So anything that is not standard, in German they say off in Ordnung, meaning not in order, something outside of their own German matrix, that interests them. That makes them feel like they're alive. Okay? So, yeah, they had a true reckoning. So, someone said, what about Italian men? What about them? Whew. Oof. Let me get some kombucha on that one, girl. Girl, I'm getting the shakes just thinking about them. Oof. 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 Lord have mercy. Well, yeah, girl. I also lived in Italy for about 1.5 years. Girl, I've been around the world tonight. Girl, the Italians, they were the best I ever had. Someone said small. Girl, you know Italians are like brown, right? Italians are not white. They got that Northern African in them, girl. Mm, mm, mm. I don't know, girl. Best I ever had. I don't know what to tell you. I almost didn't come back to America, girl. Whew. Okay, let me exhale. Girl, I was waiting to exhale. Flashbacks, girl, my body is convulsing down there. You can't see me, but I literally am crossing my legs twice so that my vajayjay doesn't fall out. So I had to adjust myself, girl. Girl, legs crossed twice, thrice, if you will. When I was living in Italy, I always had about 3 to 5 boyfriends at a time. Someone said small. You must have been with some Italian Americans. You must have got the American side. If you go to the motherland, girl, that pasta's doing its work. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to hear about these small Italians. You with a Jersey Italian dude. You Jersey Shore in it, girl. You not in Rome. Open like the Colosseum, sweetie. Broken like the Colosseum. Don't get me started. Yes, honey, pasta poppies. All right, let me get in here. Let me start talking about some dating, honey, before. Let me cross my legs again, girl. Just in case. Okay, what are the questions, honey? Asian men next. What about them? What about them? Girl, my glasses aren't here. I need some glasses before I talk to them, girl, because I don't see it. I don't see it, sweetie. Someone said, you ever dated an Asian man? Here's what I want to offer to each and every one of you. There's a reason why I'm a dating coach. Because I dated them all. Even those small countries, during the Olympics when they're parading and no one's ever heard of them, talk to them too. Well, how was it? Well, the Japanese are kinky. Straight up. Koreans ain't nothing, girl. I wouldn't do it. Chinese are hit or miss. Someone says she can't dress up as Sailor Moon every day. Well, you're not ready for it then. Okay. Tori said, do you think black men actually like black women? I think this is such a great question. And the reason why I think it's a great question is because like is a very interesting word to use. I think that black men love black women, but I also think that black men don't like black women. they love them because they actually feel comfortable around them. There's a level of familiarity, safety, and a lot of Black women feel like family, right? They feel like, unfortunately, like their mothers, who they have a complicated relationship with, a love-hate relationship with many of their mothers. Do they like them? Many of them don't. Not all of them. Nothing is 100%. And the reason I say that is because there are, you know, a lot of experiences, a lot of experiences where they have been vulnerable with Black women and Black women have not held them down in a certain way. I'm not saying all, just in the same way that you've had really traumatic experiences with Black men, I want to offer to you that a lot of Black men have had a lot of traumatic experiences with Black women. Even though you might not have contributed to that, they've experienced that. So I think it's difficult. I think it's hard to date people who might not like you. Yeah, something to think about and consider. Again, I think you should date everyone. I would say now it's roughly about 50% of my clients end up with Black men, healthy Black men. Black men that like and love Black women. The fearless babe said there's so much he's not saying. Girl, don't try to clock me, girl. Tommy said, have you ever dated a hood ninja since you dated them all? Yeah, I had a moment. I almost died, so I had to get out of there. But I had a moment. I had a moment where I went to his house and didn't know if I left his house, if I would still have a car. Yeah. But, I mean, am I alone here? Haven't we all had a moment? Thank you. V said, girl, we all did. Correct. Ariel knows what's up. She said, stop, LOL, the D was fire. It's the only reason why I would... Girl, I was living in LA at the time, and he was the only reason why I was in Compton. Normally, I wouldn't even drive south of the 10. Because I was a Hollywood girl. I was a Beverly Hills, Santa Monica girl. But the things that one might do... Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me know what the questions are. I want to know what the tea is. I want to know what we're struggling with, ladies, so that I can move you one step forward to your love goals and desired outcomes. Okay? Because I don't want to be talking about my messy past, girl. Too many stories, too little time. Yeah. Okay, someone said I'm missing the good question. I'm sorry, girl. I have almost 1,500 people here on TikTok and another almost like 400 people on IG. So if I'm missing your questions, I apologize. Please continue to repeat them so that I do not miss them. And thank you so much for the 110,000 likes. I really appreciate it here on TikTok. Okay, let's get into the business now. I'm ready. I'm professional. I'm not gonna talk about that messy stuff anymore. I'm gonna be a professional. Okay, your clients who ended up with Black men, did they share what their Black men did to become healthy for themselves and their relationship? I think it's a good question. I think that, let me think. You know how there are men that are just like, literally, one of the things that I ask my clients is, first of all, I want you to understand that no man is real until physical date 3. So I don't even ask my client for like what the guy's name is until they're on a date 3. And then I also ask for a picture. I need to know the picture. And there are some men that look like husbands, right? That are not trying to do too much. One of the things that I think is really important is like men that are not trying to impress anyone, and you can see it. They're kind of just doing their own thing, right? They're not wearing loafers with no socks on. Thank you. Um, they're just a regular, degular dude who works and comes home. Okay? Very important. So when I say regular degular and they're not kind of trying to do too much, I think that's one of the through lines, one of the patterns that I see with these men, that, you know, they're not out and about all the time, right? Which is very important. If anything, they're working out, but they work a lot. They might do things on the weekends, but similar to y'all, they work and they come home. That's why a lot of these dating coaches out here that's like, go here, go there, go everywhere. I say go online. I say go out where they work, near there. Work out. Maybe go to a grocery store on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, because that's when they go grocery shopping. Right? Otherwise, do you. Have a hobby. Right? Have fun. Have a full life. It's very important. So that's kind of what I say. Like they're not putting themselves in situations where they would need to do a lot of work on themselves. Someone said, so you only accept women of color as clients? I accept everybody, but we talk to people beforehand. I think we're working with maybe 3 to 5 white women, but you got to be down. This experience is centered around the Black and brown woman experience. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what someone said. What apps would you recommend? Good question. It really depends on where you're located, what your age is. Sometimes your skin color, unfortunately, your size. So we look at everything when our clients come into the door and we give them recommendations. I will tell you 2 apps that I haven't been super impressed with this year, 2025, would be Bumble and Match. Okay? I will tell you that. Someone said, I have a clinical master's degree in psychology and have trouble finding a match. Any advice? Well, I think everyone's having trouble finding a match. And I don't think that... I think sometimes people, specifically men, are intimidated by someone who is a psychologist. But one of the things that I often see with individuals who are serving, women that are in service roles, social workers, therapists, psychologists, teachers, nurses, is that 2 things. One, because they're centering other people, they tend to center people in their relationships instead of centering themselves. That's number 1. Number 2, oftentimes they don't take up space in the relationship, and so they actually are very much not being vulnerable. Especially the therapists and the psychologists and people like that, because they're used to using their mind to connect and interact with people and not necessarily their heart. It's actually like kind of frowned upon when you're putting your emotion into your work and that sort of work. So I don't know you, but I would just offer that part of the work is learning potentially how to be more vulnerable, how to share more feelings when you're interacting with people so that you can deeply connect, especially with men. But also, like, how to banter and how to flirt, because that's a level of vulnerability too that a lot of people are missing and like don't know how to do. In the chat, let me know, do you know how to flirt and banter? If you don't, give me a hashtag, I don't know. Okay, y'all are saying no, and I asked you very clearly to say I don't know. So, y'all are already getting Fs. Most of y'all are already getting Fs. Someone said, does being mean count? No, it doesn't count. So, I want to offer to you that flirting and bantering is a level of vulnerability. It is a level of vulnerability that most women, but specifically Black and brown women, are not taught, because flirting and bantering, we're raised to believe is being too fast. And if you are a Black or brown woman in your life, the way that you get ahead is by being serious and by your work product. And so you bring that to your dating life, but nobody wants to date a coworker. So one of the things that we do in my program is teach the girls how to flirt and how to banter so that you can actually engender a level of trust with these men quickly and easily. It's one of the reasons why dating is hard for Black and brown women. I have a whole chapter about it in my book. But I think it'll be important for you to learn how to do that in the context of dating. I think y'all talk a lot of ish with your girls, but we got to bring that side to the dating. Either some people are like more cute and mute when they're dating, or they're doing way too much. So oftentimes we got to find that balance. Yeah. Girl, I was double crossing my legs so much when I was talking about those Italians. Now, girl, I got arthritis. Anna Christina says to mention the most beautiful date he took you on, but make it up. Thoughts? Well, I've had her on my podcast. I love the work that she does. She is the creator of Black Cat Golden Retriever, by the way. I think it's important because a lot of people try to cop her stuff. She's a colleague, and I think she knows her stuff. I personally would not recommend making things up with a man, right? Here's the thing. If you have to goat a man into taking you on an amazing date, that he probably doesn't have it in him to begin with. The way that I think about dating in my perspective is I want you to be in observation mode to see what his natural homeostasis is when it comes to dating. If you have to say, oh, I've done this, and the only reason that he does that is to try to be the best, then he's doing it for his own ego and not for you. Right? Versus let's sit back and see what he's going to do, because whatever he does on his own naturally is what he's going to do 6 months from now, a year from now, 3 years from now. Versus you getting butthurt and disappointed because he did all this shit for you during the courtship because he was just performing versus actually showing his real self. So that's what I would say for that. Yeah. Okay, let me see what the IG girls are talking about. How to learn how to flirt and banter. Get in my program, girl. Book a call, sweetie. Get into this program. The book is not out yet. It will be out in January 2027 because it's being traditionally published by Crown Publishing and Penguin Random House, which is the top and biggest publisher out there. Let's see. How quick should I delete an online dating match when I'm asking and they are just answering? I'm deleting after a few messages. So annoying. Good. After 2 to 3 conversation rounds, cut it. Someone said divorcement ? One of the things that I think is important is a lot of women and men recover from breakups and relationships differently. I always say that men are generally ready to date after 3 to 6 months of being divorced. Now, for you, that might seem really soon because you might not personally feel ready to date at that time, but men generally are. So I think it's important to understand that. Lisa said, congrats, it feels so far away. I know it does, but that's good. One of the things that I've learned in life is that patience is a virtue, and anything that's amazing and great takes time. So please understand that this book is going to be a game changer. This book is specifically for Black women. And I want you to understand that it was a huge ordeal and endeavor to get this book done. Not me writing. I think it's important to understand that the literary industry, most of them did not want to do this book because I was steadfast in letting them know that this was going to be a book for Black women. I could have gotten the best, I have the best agents now, but some of the top agents, some of the top publishers, they wanted this book to be for every woman. And I had to tell them, hell to the motherfucking no. I said, why am I doing this? It'll just be like every other book. This book is going to help you understand the underlying, what's happening underneath, so that you can clear all that stuff up. So that when you're engaging in it, we give you strategy, but we also clear up your stuff. Because if you're a Black woman, if you're a brown woman, if you're a woman of color, dating strategy is not enough. You also have to couple that with healing, getting clear with your trauma that has happened not just in your lifetime, but also the generations before us. That stays in our body, that lives in our body. You have to break those generational curses, which are heavy, that your white counterparts don't have. So, that's why this book is, I believe, a game changer. Yeah. So, super excited for that. You'll see, girl, when I start doing my promotion next summer, girl, you'll see me everywhere. It's one of the reasons why I'm kind of chilling right now too, because like, we have to prepare for it. Someone said, are you able to help Muslim women out? I sure am. Muzmatch.com, girl. Salam. Those are the two apps that I would recommend. Salam, especially if you are less of a traditional Muslim girl. Yeah, honey, I'll be touring everywhere. New York, DC, Atlanta, Houston, LA, Chicago. And then after the signings, we're gonna go out and we're gonna talk to men. And it'll be fun. Make sure NOLA is part of your book tour. Please and thank you. Girl, I don't know, girl. Those NOLA boys, girl. That Creole girl. Something wicked. Okay, let's get back to some of the dating. No Oakland. Yeah, girl, no Oakland. They'll snatch me up in a second over there. Someone said, come to Ohio. The fentanyl capital of the US? No, ma'am, I will not. Looks like a zombie apocalypse in Ohio. You will not see me there. Respectfully speaking, of course. Mm-hmm. Am I lying? I mean, honey, it is looking like Thriller up in there. Everybody trying to get their next crank or Fenty realness. Not me, sweetie. Girl, y'all, can some of y'all check me? Because I think I'm talking too much ish, girl. Someone needs to check me, girl. Someone said, how young are you, fairy god bro? Baby. I'm baby. That's how young I am. Okay. Yeah, sweetie. Fetus tea. What do you think of Christian dating apps? I think that I have a lot of Christian clients, and half of my coaching staff are Christian and like focused on dating as a Christian. And I will say that we really respect like where our clients want to go, but most of the Christian dating apps are kind of trash. And it's hard because I think that women have a different expectation from those apps. And so it's actually more disappointing when they're experiencing the same thing on those apps that they're experiencing on bigger apps like a Hinge, Bumble, OkCupid, Match, Tinder, what have you. Mm-hmm. So, Risha said, what's your take on women always keeping a man on the side? I think it's preventing you from finding your person, actually. I think for me, I think it is a sign of scarcity mindset. And I think that if you have a man on the side, that you're putting up with something that is not the full real thing, right? Because if he was something, he would be your man. It's tricky because the longer that you stay involved with someone that's just a side thing, the more that you will actually trick your mind into thinking, one, that it's real, but two, what generally happens is that your mind will play a trick on you. And it will tell you that you are worthy of this level of treatment, right? That's very important. Okay, someone said a backup plan. No. What about a backup plan? No. Again, it's scarcity mindset. When you have a backup plan, what you're telling yourself and maybe even the universe or God or whatever, whomever you believe in, is that I don't think that this is going to happen for me. So I'm just going to have this here so that I can feel okay and safe. But ideally what's still happening is that you're relying on a man to make you feel safe, and ultimately you need to feel safe. I also think that it's not fair. In my program, we call that a safety net. It's not fair to the guy and it's not fair to you either, ultimately. There's two ways that this ends. One, you get bored and you just drop it, so you've just wasted your time knowing full well that this person was never the one, so it just feels like a waste of time. Or two, he levels up and he drops you. And now you're more butthurt than ever because you gave a guy a chance knowing that it was never going to be a match, and he dropped you. And now you feel like the fool. Either way, you don't win. So I think it's better to let that go if you know that it's not it. Yeah. And it said, so we shouldn't have a roster. We totally should. We totally should. But the people on the roster should be people that we're truly interested in. And we can't play ourselves into thinking, if you know for sure, think about it. If you were confident about somebody, you would lean in, you would make things happen. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. Someone's asking, what men like mean women? So I think men like women who are clear and direct about what they want and what they need so that they can easily satisfy those needs. I think you'll hear a lot of rhetoric online about be mean to men. Would you like somebody to be mean to you? I don't think so. Men don't like bitches, just like you don't like assholes. So what I would share with you is that make sure that you're just boundaried up. Boundaries and standards are important here, and that doesn't make you mean, right? There are some women that are mean, but when you are mean, the men that you will attract are men that like to suffer and like to feel bad about themselves. Ultimately, the men that you will attract when you are mean are men who have had narcissistic or abusive mothers. And you are literally just fulfilling that void. Oftentimes, those men will never truly lead. And at some point, you will get frustrated with them. But you've created an environment and a precedent where I tell you what to do and I do it in a certain way. And the expectation is that you're just going to take it. Huge mother issues. Those are the men that you will attract. Guys that are emotionally healthy would never want to be involved in a relationship that is abusive. Because being a bitch in a relationship is abusive. Yeah. Very important. Okay, let's see what's going on here. He wants to FaceTime before a meeting. Good. Do it. Check it out. See if it feels good for you. He's busy building his business and need to cut our time together. When a man is building a business and it's very early, you need to think of him having a newborn baby. Because that's how much energy he's going to have. That's the level of commitment that he's going to have as someone who is an entrepreneur and who's been there himself. And you need to figure out if you're okay with that for the next at least 2 years. Some people are, some people aren't. Melissa said, have you heard of date stacking? I have. Just met this guy in person a week ago and date 4 is already planned. I wouldn't do it. For me, this is love bombing 101. Girl, 1 date at a time. I wouldn't do it. Because when you do that, there's this like passive pressure, especially for many women out there, that they kind of feel like, oh my God, I have to go on this date a bit. No. No. We don't need to do that. Okay, someone asked, what if you're dating multiple people and the guy only wants you to date him? What do? You tell him that you are single until you're in an exclusive committed relationship. And you're dating. Guys who just want you to date them are insecure men. And if they say that, it is often because when women have dated multiple men, they've always lost, which I think is telling about them. Men who know that they're going to win don't have a problem with you dating multiple men. Clock that. Yeah, so if he says, I just want you to date me, I'm exclusively dating and committed to one person when I am in a relationship with that person. Someone asked me, what are your thoughts on insecure men? I don't have any thoughts about insecure men. I don't think about them. I don't know. Call me old-fashioned. Okay. Tracy said, I always attract British men. What are your thoughts on them? That's interesting. Where are you located? And then I'll answer the question. Someone said, we like each other, can't commit because I spoke to his cousin. Rocks up to Pilates after I blocked. I don't understand what that sentence means. Hold on 1 second. So people try to come into this room, honey. I have to decline them each and every time. What about a man that won't compliment or ask questions? If he's not complimenting you or asking questions, then what are you talking about? You're talking to yourself. Am I missing something, ladies? Alexia says, what are your thoughts on women who say that being on the apps is like being on the clearance rack? I think it feels that way because you have so many data points, because you're engaging and interacting with so many men, that it feels that way. But the gag is that offline dating have similar statistics. But because you don't have as many data points, people don't think that. Do you think that there are more people that could be your person in real life than on the apps? That hasn't been my experience. It feels that way because of the quantity. You could chat with 40, 50 people. And if you only connect with one and you think that the other 49 are not a connection, then it feels like because they're not a match or connection, they're of lower quality. I'm not someone who actually thinks that people are lower quality or inferior or superior. I just think that people are people. And if people are saying that other people are equivalent to a clearance rack, then that's a mindset shift that needs to happen. This is about judgment of other people versus accepting them, which is something that we work on in my program. If you're judging people harshly, judging is masculine, feeling is feminine, right? I think it's very important to learn how to accept, because acceptance is love. And your partner, your future person, there are going to be a lot of things that you'll need to accept of them. And if you bring judgmental energy into the relationship, you will create disconnection. Part of my dating program and coaching program is not just about helping you date and date well. It's about creating skills that will help you not just in dating, but also in a relationship. That's the difference between a great dating coach and just an okay one. There are a lot of okay dating coaches that will teach you how to date, but they might not teach you how to be and thrive in a relationship. It's very important. I think a lot of people think that, oh my God, if I just get in a relationship, it'll be good. Girl, it's a whole nother set of skills that are different than the dating skills. Something to think about and consider. Yeah. Okay. Someone said, I think you're great. I want to work with you. Girl, go to the link in my bio and apply. Book a call. Book a call. Someone said, what are your thoughts on Shira 7? I think she teaches the ladies great boundaries and standards for those that don't have them. I think that we're aligned on maybe 2/3 of the things that we talk about. I think where we differ is I'm about love partnerships, and I think that her partnerships are more transactional. And for me, the reason why I think that's tough is because actually what will happen is when you think about the dating market, 80% of the guys are not relationship ready, but you have the 20%. And if you are focused on creating security for yourself, a lot of those good guys that actually will give to you will start to feel used and will start to create resentment with women in general. So some of the mentalities, some of the things that she's saying actually makes it harder in general for a lot of women to date, because a lot of these good guys are getting used and not feeling good about it, and then not liking women because of it. So it's something to think about and consider. I also think that she is for women who are smart, but also might have some money wounds. And if you are someone of color, oftentimes, because many of us are raised, maybe not having a lot of money, that level of, get that security, get that safety, is going to be really important for you. When you think about it in terms of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that safety and security is the second level of self-actualization. And I'm also interested in higher levels of the hierarchy, like love and belonging, right? Like self-esteem and like self-actualization. But I think she's helping a lot of different women, which I think is great. Yeah. Okay, let me see what else. Let me see what other questions we got going on. Are Jamaican men marriage material? Ladies? Hee hee hee. Um, I think they're marriage material for German female tourists. Western European tourists. Okay, next question. My partner has roommates who is their ex. What should I do? Is that weird? I think that your partner who is roommating with an ex has not closed that chapter. And I want to offer to you that you will never have a future with that person until that chapter is closed. And I'll say that respectfully. Okay, ladies, I have a question because I'm seeing some comments in the IG chat about bisexual men. Would you date a bisexual man, yes or no? I want to know. Yes or no? I'm seeing about 90% no. Here's what I want to offer to you. You already have. Now what? Now what? So now what? Someone said that's not funny, Anwar. Why? Why do you not want to date a bisexual man? What do you think is the significant difference between a straight man and a bisexual man in terms of being in a relationship with you? Someone said risk. Thank you for these, girl. Okay. And and we're all family here, so if you all want to get a little bit homophobic, you can. More competition. So do you think that bisexual men are more promiscuous than straight men? Because a lot of the comments are the assumption that they're cheating with multiple people. I'm seeing a lot of like comments around competition. If someone is monogamous, then they're going to be with you. And I'm seeing that a lot of people believe that they are more promiscuous. Very interesting. Okay. Got it. Someone said, oh, so you doing the bending. So does it matter whether he's doing the bottoming or the topping for you all? I'm interested in this. Okay, so if he is a top, Cody said, "Yeah, we're quitted." Why? Someone said it definitely matters. Call me Tony said the phobia is real. I know. What if I told you I don't want him, period? Okay. Someone said they're all bottoms. Someone said, is it after midnight? Yes, honey, it's 12:30. Party just got started. Someone said, I blame Tyler Perry. You're not wrong. Tori said, we don't have to want to buy men. You don't. This is a curious question. There's like no judgment here, right? Maya said it's a lot of biphobia going on low-key. The reason, but I think it's important here. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because the, oh my God, no bi men is kind of attracting the bi and the DL men, ladies. Someone said, who gonna be the boys? A lot of the women are the boys. Now what? Totally respect your honesty, but I want to have a really, really clear understanding. Anwar said, Anwar, would you date a bi man? Have I dated a bi man? When I was dating, I was very staunch on not dating bi men. And the reason why was because a lot of straight men would tell gay men that they're bi when they're really DL. And so to take that confusion out of my dating life, I decided, like, when someone said, oh, no, I'm bi, a lot of them were DL. Yeah. Someone said, see, y'all not seeing anything. But I think that's unique to a gay man's experience, especially a gay man who like involves and would interact with a lot of DL men. But being open bisexually and being DL are two different things. Yeah. Okay. No, this is all very interesting. Someone said, what's the difference between bi and DL? When a man is bisexual, he's open about it. He shares it, right? A DL man does not share, generally, his attraction to men and hides it. Yeah. Yeah. Very important. Someone said, how do you make him admit he's a DL? Well, generally, you have to have a lot of trust. And so oftentimes, some of the questions that I ask when you're getting closer to exclusivity and maybe you've explored more intimacy with that person as you start talking about some of your like intimate or sexual fantasies, right? Or things that you've done in the past, right? So you might say something like, oh my God, when I was in college, I used to kiss girls. What about you? But there has to be a lot of trust there. Yeah. Okay, this is good to know. The gag is that I want to offer something to many of you. And this is what I've observed. And I think this is what many of you all are experiencing, right? There's this whole DL phenomena that's happening. What I know for sure is that, do you know that these men are gooners? Do you know what that means? Do you all know what a gooner is? Gooner. Leah said yes. Okay, girl, you a freak. A gooner is someone who is like needs to get off all the time. Okay? And is like fiending for it. So these are men that will, like, most men are getting that old multiple times a day through corn with a P. So a lot of what is happening is that it's like, how do I say this? When you're on the freeway and you're in the fast lane and you're used to going 70 or 80 miles per hour, yeah, some people are gagging multiple times a day. 2, 3 more times a day. And I would actually care to say that this is like most men. I think it's important for you all to understand that. So this lust has taken over a lot of men. Okay? Someone, Gabby said, I think I'm a gooner. Go, girl, go. Goon away, girl. But I think it's important to understand this, right? And so a lot of what is happening is that they are addicted to owing. I'm trying to stay on these social media so they don't kick me out, right? And so a lot of this, what's happening is men are in this perpetual mood of, let me just say this. So do you remember when you used to go to the club and it would like, the club would close at like 2 a.m. and then everybody was trying to find somebody to hook up with that night? These men feel this way all the time. All the time. Correct, Marie. Marie said, so you're saying it doesn't matter who the recipient is as long as they get off. 100%. So I want to offer that a lot of these quote unquote DL men are actually just really lustful men that want to get off because they're gooners. So I think it's important to like understand what's going on with men, because I think a lot of people aren't talking about this and it's like a whole nother world. But like, if you have male friends, ask them, how many times do you get that O every day? And ask them, no judgment. I'm curious. So now they need it all the time. It's, girl, the internet has made all of this very readily available. So now, it starts with that. Then they try to find it with women. And if they can't find it with women, they'll go for other recipients. Anyone in the LGBT community. Q, A, B, C, D, E, F, G community. So I think that is important for us to understand. I think it's important for you to understand. Someone said you just defined gay. I think they're just addicted to getting off. But a lot of people aren't understanding this. So I wanted to share this with y'all so y'all understood what the real tea is with these men. That all of this conversation about DL is really just coming from a very lustful place. And that is coming from the gooning. Someone said, so they're doing the bending. I don't think it starts that way. I think it starts the other way. And I just want to offer for men that are struggling in life, that don't feel good about themselves, they will goon more. So a lot of, no shade, unemployed, underemployed men, they're the biggest gooners. And oftentimes that means a lot of black and brown men. Because it's the thing that makes me feel good. Someone said, can gooners be marriage materials? Yeah, my hope is that they goon in the relationship though. Danielle said, are you getting a TV show? I wanted to pause on the TV show stuff. I want to focus on my book, and I also want to focus on my kids right now because we're getting them ready for like boarding school applications and stuff like that. So I think once my book comes out, I'll start engaging with the TV stuff. I am Sarah Co said this is deep, especially the tie to the economics. 100%. 100%. So I think it's important for you to understand what is his, you need to understand if your sex levels match. Okay? Very important. Late blooming men are gooners. Guess what? Everyone that's coming up, that's come up in the last 10 or 15 years, they're all gooning, girl. So I think it's important to understand where this DL phenomenon is kind of coming from. It's the gooning. Yeah. I just wanted to put you up on game because you're my sisters and I think that you deserve that. So, I don't want us to get super involved on who's DL and who's not. I mean, I make videos out there about that, but I think it's important for you to understand the context and the foundation of like why we're seeing it as much now than before. And also, it's also because women, people are not having as much sex as they used to. Yeah. So, Keisha said, said, thank you so much for talking about this. You're welcome. I mean, I think it's important for you all to just understand why it feels so heightened, why people are talking about it so much. And I don't think they're talking about the foundation. They're just like, there's this sensationalism around DL. These men are gooners. And not all DL men are gay. They're just gooners. Yeah. All right. So did you think if you're not a gooner, you're boring? I don't know. What do you mean by that? Brenda said, all jokes aside, it's a real problem. 100%. Because guess what? Now they get addicted to it. And now, respectfully speaking, the encounters are more readily available for men, with men. And sometimes with trans women, right? And so now, because it's readily available, they're going to continue to go into it and lean into it. Yeah. Respectfully speaking, it's easier to hook up with a guy than it is with a woman. Yeah. So that's just that. So a lot of these men are gooners. Maybe I'll do a video about it to talk a little bit more about this concept. Someone asked, who are some famous gooners? I think most all men are gooners. I think that in the same way that you might put on some gloss or lipstick, that's how often they're gooning throughout the day. Girl, the corn industry has paid for the internet. That doesn't just happen. Okay. I found a partner gooning on Reddit. I didn't even know you could find it there. You can find it everywhere now, girl. No shade, but if a man has Twitter app, that's probably most often where they're finding it. Between all of the websites, but Twitter is mostly that. No shade. Yeah. So. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Twitter's the wild, wild west, honey. So, what did we learn in this live tonight, honey? What were the biggest takeaways for you? Because we talked about a lot of different stuff. Before I get out of here, because girl, I gotta get my beauty sleep. What sticks out to you? What did you learn? Let me know. And I hope you all took notes. Okay, someone said Italians. Yes, that. Someone said, learn to flirt. Be strict, not mean. Italy and Germany. Someone said I learned a lot. The importance of flirting. Everybody probably dated a bi man. I gotta find me an Italian stallion. Work on my flirting. The corn issue is so prevalent. Embrace all humanity. I love that. Gabby said my name is Gabby and I'm a gooner. True story, true story. Boundaries and standards. Exclusive does not mean relationship. Let him go if he wants to focus on work. Pasta poppy. No judgment. Accept gifts. Past trauma. I love it. Someone said, in Anwar we trust. Thank you, girl. Do you have time for one more question? Only if it's a good one, honey. His career is a baby. Leave his side before he leaves you. Being direct versus being mean. And we're dated a hood ninja like all of us. DL-ism stems from childhood trauma. No escape. The world gamers. Good. Good. Let me see what IG came out with. I'm not seeing anything on IG about what you learned. Maybe y'all didn't learn anything? I don't know. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all for being here. I hope that this was helpful for you. And I'll see you when I see you. Alrighty? Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. If you want to book a consultation call, if you want to do this work deeply and so that we can help you get your person before it gets even harder. Respectfully speaking, by end of 2026, 2027, I think it's going to be very difficult to date. So I do think that if this is something that you want, you should try to prioritize it over the next year, because the way that dating is going and the way that the content is happening, it's becoming like harder and harder for both genders to come together. Literally. It's like two different lanes. So it means less and less people. It's going to be harder to find your person, unfortunately. Alrighty? So if you want to do this work so we can date strategically and help you find your guy, definitely book a call with us and we'll see if it's a good fit. Alrighty? Alright. Someone said, will it get as bad as South Korea? Yes. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Bye now.